Hey, what's up everyone, this is Jared, and if you're looking for an absolute beast of a gaming laptop with the latest in desktop grade GPUs, then take a close look at the Predator 17 with the new Nvidia GTX 1070. Now, in the past, I've reviewed the Predator 15, and it was a great gaming laptop, but there's some serious upgrades that come with the new updated Predators. The build materials are still plastic with a soft touch finish to it, something I can see getting and showing scratches rather quickly if you're not careful. The Predator logo at the top, flanked on both sides by strips, all light up red when the laptop's on, the display is open, and the rear exhaust vents on the back look really aggressive, which I dig. On the front, there's a couple of grills, not to be confused with the actual speakers, to give it that sort of Predator look. I don't know, they don't really do anything for me personally. There's quite a bit of I/O, so on the right side there's a Thunderbolt 3 port, two USB 3 ports, an HDMI and display port, and a network port. On the left side is two more USB 3 ports, mic and headphones ports, and an SD card reader. But next to that is the optical drive that can be removed and swapped for what's called the Frost Core, which is essentially another fan inside an enclosure that's designed to simply slide in place of the optical drive, lowering the GPU temperature by a few degrees, just in case you're noticing some throttling. But in case you're wondering, yes, I've tried it, yes, it works. No, I don't think I actually ever really needed it. On the bottom, we've got some air intake vents for front-facing speakers with the dual subwoofer configuration, and then we've got this easily removable panel to gain access to the upgradable parts, such as the 1TB 7200 RPM hard drive, the dual stacked M2 slots for storage, which currently have dual 128GB M2 drives, and then two empty RAM slots for upgrading the existing 16GB of RAM to a total of 64GB. Now, I was hoping we'd be able to catch a glimpse of the 1070 through the air intake vents, but sadly that wasn't the case. The 17-inch 1080p IPS display with a matte finish is really nice and has great position retention. It just feels solid. Playing games with a window behind me was considerably less irritating, and most importantly, color accuracy is great, lines are sharp, saturation is on point, and of course, thanks to IPS, it's got great viewing angles, perfect for gaming with friends watching. You can order the 17-inch model with a 4K display, which I haven't had the pleasure of seeing in person, but I'd assume gaming in 4K at max settings on a laptop would be pretty cool. The inside continues with the soft touch finish and has a nice full RGB backlit keyboard that can be adjusted through the Predator Sense app along with overclocking options. Now on the left side of the keyboard are some programmable buttons that by default let you change things like the fan speed and gameplay recording, but can be programmed for other really useful things with 3 sets of programmable options available. Now for everyday tasks in gaming, resting my wrist on the left edge got uncomfortable, and I found myself constantly rubbing my wrist as a result. Technically speaking, I could simply raise my chair, but at the height I like to sit at, my arm sort of hangs below the laptop, so with the dramatic edge, it causes uncomfort. Now the keyboard itself feels really nice to both type and game on. It has an awesome amount of travel, just enough to hear those clickety clacks, which I love, and it's spacious, so you won't find yourself involuntarily hitting keys. The trackpad is well sized and feels nice to the touch. The left and right buttons have just as deep a travel as the 15-inch model I've reviewed did, but are adequate enough for everyday use. And you'll be using a mouse for gaming anyways, so it's not really that big a deal. And just beside it, there's a button to disable the trackpad while gaming. The internal audio system sounds pretty good for a laptop. It's clear and crisp, but I personally found it inadequate for any serious gaming, especially while the fans are at full speed. But for consuming media, it's great. While gaming, I'd recommend wearing headphones. The overall performance of this laptop is great. The replaceable 7200 RPM hard drive performs as you would expect, with the dual SSD configuration performing obviously much better. Gameplay has been nothing short of phenomenal with its Intel 6700 HQ CPU, 16GB of RAM, and the new Nvidia GTX 1070 GPU with the full 8GB of VRAM available. Now playing Overwatch at maximum epic graphics settings kept a solid 75 FPS, only limited by the display. Same thing can be said for Battlefield 1. Maximum graphical settings, not one single frame dropped, hands down the best laptop gaming experience I've ever had. And thanks to the Killer Double Shot Pro, my Wi-Fi connection during games has never been better. For instance, the Wi-Fi connection on my entry-level MSI gaming laptop is totally unplayable in my office studio, but with thanks to the Double Shot Pro on the Predator, I almost never feel the need to plug in a network cable. I'm totally in love with it. The 6,000 mAh battery on the Predator 17 only lasted me exactly an hour and a half while playing games at maxed out graphics settings, unfortunately throttling the FPS to 30 while on battery, no matter what graphics setting it was on. So gaming with a power adapter plugged in is a must, but for light tasks like browsing the web and some video content, I seem to get a consistent average of about just under 5 hours, with charging time taking about 3.5 hours. Through and through, it's a really nice gaming laptop. It's pretty heavy though, coming in at just over 8 pounds. So if you're gonna be relying on this for class, you won't have as much fun lugging it around as you will gaming on it. However, you can order its optional custom laptop bag. It's styled to go with the Predator looks, with matte black and red highlights. There's a ton of pockets for all your peripherals and devices, straps on the sides for hanging things, plenty of room for your 17-inch laptop, and maybe even a tablet, a pocket on the bottom for storing the power adapter and cable, and it's got a water-repellent exterior with a waterproof top flap and waterproof zippers. It's actually a pretty nice laptop bag. I'm just not personally a fan of the style, but it's there to order if you want a matchy-match. So if you're looking for an awesome portable desktop replacement with some of the best specs you'll find anywhere in a laptop, the Predator 17 is something I'd highly suggest you take into consideration. But I think that about does it. If you made it this far and liked the video, show me some love with that like button and share it on social media. And if you're new to my stuff, subscribe for new videos every week. But thanks as always for watching, and I'll talk to you on the next one. Cheers.